Hi, I am LT Big Talk. Welcome to this new video. Today, this is the retrospective of the Arrow TV show, Part 1. We will cover Season 1 and 2. We will take a look to the basics of the story without going too deep. We may have a few light spoiler, nothing huge, nothing really big, but be advised of that. Now, this video shall have basically my take on the story, what I enjoyed, what I understood from the story, my opinion, and we will also go over viewership, because viewership is important, I think, I guess, maybe. This shows interest, live viewer. We will also take a look to comments from people, the audience, on Rotten Tomato. I don't care about critics, they are paid to praise stuff. So just ignore them and go take a look to the fans, what they had to say about it. And I hope guys will enjoy and stick around. And be advised, this is only part 1. We have a part 2, the downfall. And we have a part 3, the redemption. Don't worry, everything will come around at some point. Let's do this. Before we go any further with Season 1, I will speak about my experience with the show. I discovered the show in the off-season in between Season 2 and 3. Season 2 just ended, I decided to binge watch, give it a shot to the show. And I enjoyed the trip, and at that point, I didn't know we had the Flash coming in fall. And then after I was done watching the first 2 seasons of Arrow, they did announce the Flash first season, and I was excited about it. I was like, that will be cool. I cannot wait to learn more about the Flash. And now, my experience with the Arrow TV show, I did enjoy a lot the first 2 seasons. Then I was watching weekly, and Season 3, I actually kind of liked it the first time, but I wasn't as critical as right now. And at that time, I was like 17-ish, 18. I can't remember the exact age I was at that time, but that's a long time ago. And when you're younger, you're not as critical as when you grow up. And that's funny because when I rewatched Season 3 as I was a bit older and as we had more season like stacking up and going above each other, I realized Season 3 was kind of bad. And the same goes for Season 4. But this is funny because Season 5, oh my, that was a bang. I liked it a lot every time I rewatch it. I think it's the best season the show ever had. So I cannot wait to cover it. And by the way, in the intro, I forgot to tell you, we will cover a tier list I made. And now the tier list is not done yet, because I am currently rewatching the 3rd season as I am recording the video for Season 1 and 2. And of course, once we are over with 3 and 4, I will cover the tier list again. And you will see how this tier list builds up over the videos. So, yeah, I am a huge DC and Marvel fan. I like comic book adaptation and live action. Whether it's movie and TV shows, I just like that a lot. And I think Arrow earlier season were well written and they were really good and really strong. I cannot wait to go over everything with all of you, my 10 viewer, maybe more if I'm lucky. So let's do this. Here we are with Arrow first season. Now, this is a retrospective, And this is also somewhat of a review of the first season. Let's speak about the biggest theme: damaged people. How do they work in society? Well, Oliver doesn't work well. Him coming back to society need to adapt a lot, and he struggles a lot with that. He is centered in his mission. He almost has no social life. He is out of touch with his family and friends as well. And this draws some kind of parallel with Malcolm Merlin, the villain of the first season. And yeah, this will be very light in spoiler. I won't give away too much in case you haven't seen it. But basically, what's going on? Malcolm Merlin is just like Oliver, someone that left society for a certain time to become someone else. And this is very interesting. Everything in your life that breaks you apart turns you into something else. Oliver, being lost on the island for 5 years, became someone else because he got lost on that island. That island made him into a weapon, a serial killer. And this was very interesting. This is a very strong foundation for the show. We can also see how damaged people are in society through Quentin Lens, another character that goes against the Ood, the archer. Quentin Lens is broken. He lost a daughter. He blames himself. He blames Oliver Queen. And his vendetta is aimed at the Ood, the archer. At some point, he realized it's wrong to blame Oliver for Sarah's death. Because it's not really fully his fault, but it took a few episodes for Quentin to realize that. So you see, characters are able to grow. Character growth is something in that show, yes. It's hard to believe, right? Season 1 was well written, well executed, with strong teams, good fight choreography, good character arcs. And without going into too much spoilers, we see Oliver and Tommy friendship evolving throughout that season. We see Oliver and Laurel friendship evolving during that season. And I will be honest here, my biggest issue with that season is the love triangle. Laurel, Tommy, Oliver, why do I need that? I don't know, but they really wanted to give that to us, right? They really wanted their love triangle for the first season. On my most recent watch of this season of Arrow, I also realized something else. The first season was a lot about war and soldiers. Oliver sees himself like a soldier into a war against crime. But John Diggle at first, he's like, "You're a murderer, Oliver, you're no soldier." But then he realized, look, I went to Afghanistan, I killed people as well. What makes me so different? So, John Diggle is another really strong character. Amazing character, right? Each time he's on screen, you're like, wow, he has that presence, he's that good supporting character, and he will challenge Oliver at many times during that season, and it's justified, it's well written, it's well done. Each time he challenged Oliver, there are good reason and good writing. Each time he's like that ally that says, no, it's wrong to do that. He is some kind of moral compass for Oliver as a character. And I think John Diggle is part of why Oliver slowly becomes more of a hero instead of that vigilante that kills people right and left. And this is amazing. John Diggle as a character over the years overstated is welcome. I will be honest here. In later season, he is not as good. I'm so happy they kept him around because now he will be in Superman and Lois, and I really hope that new John Diggle will be good. Now I go too far. Let's go back to Arrow first season. So we also had Felicity, a very interesting character, and that was one of the best season Felicity had. You know why? She had a very small role. She wasn't needed each single week, and I like that. I think my biggest issue with later season is how much Felicity gets into playing a big role. She becomes too important. I understand in that kind of show they like to give a female lead, but here's the thing. If you don't have good writer, well, your female lead will be annoying at some point and the writing will fall off a cliff. But we are not there yet. Felicity is amazing in the few episodes she's in. You can feel she's needed and she doesn't come across as obnoxious. She is a well-written character. She is a strong character that happens to be female. Yes, these exist. Now, I'm not speaking about strong female character because I think strong female character is like a way to say, oh yeah, your character is poorly written and it wants to feel like tough and your character is like strong, right? Right. You don't need to do kung fu to be a strong character. Look at Tommy Merlin. He was amazing that season, and we have seen the few times where where Tommy, I should say, where Tommy tried to fight Oliver. That didn't go well, and yet he is a strong character in my own opinion. And Tommy also tried to fight his father, and here again, you know how it goes. Well, even if he doesn't know Kung Fu, I think he is stronger than a lot of character in other shows. Now, I think I spoke enough about that really good season. I cannot wait to rewatch season 2. It will be amazing again. Arrow's second season is a really good season. It's one of the best the show ever had, and this is an opinion many fans do share. Now, with that being said, I think what we need to keep in mind when we watch season 2 is that kind of follow up we have. The team here is coming back from the dead. Sarah come back from the dead. Slade Wilson came back from the dead. And Oliver is basically coming back from the dead as well in the first episode of that season. Now, just like season 1, it's a show about broken people, how they act in society, and how they survive their trauma and other stuff that don't go well in their lives. Here we got a broken Laurel that just lost her boyfriend that broke her heart and she became a drug addict here. We also got the main villain, Deathstroke. The main villain lost someone he cared for, and his friend lied to him, turning him into some kind of monster. And this is basically season 2 in a nutshell. Now, what made this season really good is the writing and the fact that even if we got 23 episodes, most of the series matter. That season has a really low count of filler. And even filler have pieces of the bigger picture. Even the less important episode have a reason to be there, and they make sense. This is a really good show at that point. Fight choreography on top, and they took that new approach. It must be more epic, more heroic, more like a superhero TV show. And this is kind of interesting. This is really interesting. We get Roy Harper trying to help the city as well. We get a new Oliver that try his best to train new people and turn them into better people than the Huntress in season 1. Now, what I like the most about season 2 is the villain. Episode 15, The Promise. The Promise? The Promise? The Promise? I don't know how to spell that word in English. It's basically the same as in French. But here's the thing. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. It's kind of sad. But regardless, episode 15 is one of the best the TV show ever had. In that episode, we could tell that villain is amazing. And he doesn't need to beat down the main character to show how of a threat he is. Just his dialogue, just the way he has Oliver family in danger just by being there. It's just genius. This is a really good villain here. We also get Oliver and Diggle friendship to a new level, because remember in season 1, Oliver was kind of selfish and centered around his crusade and stuff, and sometimes that led to conflict within the team, and said conflict actually pushed Diggle to do his things on his own. However, in season 2, Oliver is going to Russia with John Diggle because they are friends, and because Oliver realized he need to help more his friends if he want to keep them. Another good thing about season 2, Sarah. Hell yeah, one of the best character in comic book TV show ever. She is a strong character that happened to be female. She is well written, she's interesting. She is what Oliver was in season 1, and for good reason. I'm not really into shipping community, but I must tell, Sarah and Oliver relationship makes sense. They lived together many traumatic experiences. They share a crusade. And they both have broken bodies and broken mind as well. They are meant to be with each other, but hey, I guess the actress didn't want to stick around, or maybe they wanted some blonde with glasses to take her place. I really don't know. Now, season 2 is a masterpiece. I will watch and rewatch it over and over again if I didn't add other video project, because that season is really good. It's just genius. I just wish the TV show kept that quality for more than 3 seasons, I should say. So yeah, if you want to have more detail on my thoughts on that season, you will find in the description below my overview of season 2. Now, with that being said, let's go to this segment in the video where we got a tier list with all of the episodes, and I hope guys will enjoy that tier list. And I must tell, I say all of the episode, but not yet. I am currently filling the spots, and that tier list is not done yet. And you will see this tier list being filled in future part of this retrospective. So as you can see it, some of the episodes in the third season are actually there because I am currently rewatching the third season in order to do part 2 of my retrospective on the Arrow TV show. Now, as you can see it, season 1, the weakest episode in my own opinion, is at the bottom of the B tier. However, you can see a lot of episodes in B tier with season 1, and some episodes are in A tier, A+, and we also got a 3 lucky one in S tier. And now I will say this, I decided I would make some kind of rule to not have some tiers overcrowded, and I also wanted to make the tier list interesting. So this means S plus is basically with 10 episodes in total. Right now we only got 4 because I'm not done rewatching the show. And I will try my best to have at least 1 episode of each season in S plus. Now I think it will be really hard to find a good episode in season 4, but here again it's just me. I will try my best to have at least 1 there. As of S rank, because it's kind of high in my list, I'm like, it will have 20 episodes max, and I don't really care how many episodes of each season will be there, as long as S plus has 10 and S has 20. And now, the other tiers, I don't really care. I will just place whatever I think fits. Now, as you can see, season 2 are really high. Like, we got 3 mistakes, I can call them this way, in the B tier. However, they are still pretty high or in the middle of B tier. So even the weakest episode are kind of great. And now you see a bunch in A, a lot more in A+, and a lot in S. It's like half of S rank right now. So that's just my taste here. And I think it's fitting. I mean, the TV show first 2 seasons were really, really good. It was like good entertainment, good action, good storytelling, good writing, good everything, man. I think the weakest part of season 1 is how bland the main villain is. Even if Malcolm Merlin is kind of cool, he's cooler with his suit on, and the actor is doing a great job, but I think he's nowhere near Deathstroke in season 2, and he is nowhere near like Prometheus. But I will say that Malcolm Merlin is much more interesting than Ra's al Ghul or Damien Dark. I think Malcolm Merlin is like in the middle in that like bunch of villain. Now let's keep going with some comments on Rotten Tomato. Let's read the first 4, and then we will read my comment I left in January. Arrow Season 1 is a great start to Arrow and the Arrowverse. It starts a little boring, but then it gets good at around episode 8. The villain is amazing, and it was a great story overall. This season is a solid 8 out of 10. Start out slow, but the wait is well worth it. Great start for a great show. I actually really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of this show. It's a shame what happened to the Arrowverse down the road. I marked on some big novel back in January. If you like watching characters having dinner each week, this is your show. I was laughing at that and I still laugh at it. If you like boring and annoying love triangle, this shall be the best TV show you will ever see in your life. I still stick to that. If you like to see people having the same aiming, the Stormtrooper in Star Wars, this will be your show. I still stick to it. Even professional hitmen can't aim properly. With my negative already covered, let's praise what I truly enjoyed. The mystery of the undertaking was good. Flashbacks were well used. Fight scenes were impressive. Dark Archer, maybe a simple villain, is very interesting, and the actor is also great. Oliver was a great character that looked smart and that looked like someone who knows what he is doing. We also see his growth thanks to the flashbacks. He learned archery on an island to deal with people with guns. He learned martial art to survive. Oliver is a broken character back from the dead, ready to save his city. The show is great, the girls are cute. Some of the girls are strong without becoming annoying or boring. The girls' wins don't take away the boys' wins. Felicity is interesting. John Diggle was amazing. Tommy's friendship with Oliver was great and made sense. Yao Fei and Shadow, great. Flashbacks character Flyers was interesting. Slade Wilson was also an amazing supporting character. Each episode was entertaining despite the low moment on them. This was the only show I know where we get some serial killer as main character outside of Dexter. The fight scene makes sense. This was Oliver's journey from billionaire playboy to vigilante out for blood. The vigilante out for blood, slowly becoming hero by saving countless lives. This reflects well my thoughts on season 1. Now, as I said earlier in this video, in the description below you can find my reviews for the first 2 seasons. I already uploaded these videos a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago, but let's be honest, I think it was like March or February, so it's not that far down the road. Here we are with another comment. The first season of Arrow made us feel many things. This was good, and we weren't really used to seeing a superhero show on TV. Sure, there was Smallville, but that was based on the already established superhero. Here we had Green Arrow, a character from the Justice League. We looked over, and his only time to shine was in Injustice, where Superman beats him to death. So we do know what was at stake here. If this season had been bad, the entire Arrowverse would have no longer existed. But the maker did a good job, I agree. Stephen Amell is now the first thing anyone thinks of when they think of Green Arrow. And this is funny because some people are still saying, Green Arrow in Smallville is more comic book accurate. But these people, they just don't want to learn more about the character, and they're like, Arrow doesn't kill. But keep in mind, in Smallville, he also killed. Just saying. And yes, Oliver was a playboy, and yes, Oliver and Arrow did sleep with many girls. It was just not always on screen, you know? Regardless. We have 2 very similar characters, but people praise a lot the Smallville version. I don't want to trash it. I do think the Smallville version was great for Smallville, but here we got another take, and the other take is very similar. It's just different point in their lives. Now, with that being said, let's keep going. Another thing this show did so well was the fight scene. I agree, it's much better than what we had in Smallville, let's be honest. This is probably the first ever superhero show to spend a full season without a single CGI character. All the action was just raw martial art, and that's what made it so different. The otherwise CGI fest that we are used to seeing in hero, movie, and serial. So 9 out of 10, just like me. First season are pretty rough as actors work to fill their role, but I think the Arrow team did a really good job on them all. The writing was pretty good, I agree, and as an introduction season, I thought it was really well done. I agree. Not my favorite, but definitely second favorite. Very interesting. I am assuming that person has season 2 as their favorite. It's a very popular season. My favorite is the 5th season, but I do like season 1 and 2 a lot. Awesome! Great action and great villain. Highly recommend. One of the best seasons of this show. Awesome! I love it. I recommend. So you see, most people are on board with season 1. Let's go take a look to season 2. Here we are with the viewership. Now, I will tell you this, we will only consider the first 2 episodes, the mid-season finale, the mid-season premiere, the penultimate episode, and the season finale. So we will consider basically 8 episodes in total, I believe. I hope guys will enjoy, and let's take a look to that. The pilot, 4.14 million. Episode number 2, 3.55. So it's normal in season premiere and start of TV shows. We always have better numbers. Now, as you can see, a lot of people did stick around, but we lost like over a full million in like 4 episodes, which is kind of interesting. Now, let's go take a look to the mid-season finale and the mid-season premiere. Here we are, 3.11 million with Year's End, a very strong episode. I am not surprised. However, I'm kind of surprised after the break we only got 3.06 million. Now, I suspect some people are like, it's Christmas and I don't know the show came back. But then I think it solidifies after that. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Oh my, a lot of viewers dropped out of season 1. And now let's speak about penultimate. 2.62. And then we got the season finale, 2.77. We can already see a 87. First season was 82. So much more people are on board. Even the critics, they are more on board. Here we are. This season is tied with season 5 for being the best season in Arrow. Deathstroke, isn't it? Amazing villain, and he works so well in this show. I agree. The flashbacks are the best the show has seen, and the Black Canary storyline is great. The finale is the second best episode in Arrow. Overall, an amazing 9 out of 10. Now, I do think it should be like 9.2, 9.5. I'm not quite sure. It's clearly one of the best things I've seen. Great season, but I think it was a little too long for my liking. I don't know. That's your opinion, but I think in this season there's like really no filler I can remember of. Maybe Blast Radius is the most filler-ish you can have in that season. But even there, it's kind of cool. And Tremors as well is another filler-ish episode. Regardless, that season is really strong, and we will read the comment I left back in February when I was done watching another time, because I rewatched it recently, so yeah. I always remembered season 2 as being my second favorite season of the show. Right after season 5, I was right. A few minor issues in this season, they made Laurel dirty. But I do think it's fine. And that's probably the best season for Laurel. but they made her really annoying sometimes. But hey, some drug addicts are really like that in real life. In purpose, they made her the worst. Laurel also, well, in purpose, they made her the worst character ever for most of the season. But I will say that it's my favorite Laurel season. I never really liked Laurel as a character, but that season, even if they made her dirty, that season was really good for Laurel. Now, that may sound weird, I know, but hear me out. Drug addicts are annoying, and she is annoying. So that's a story well told, and I think her coming back from that at the end of the season was really good, and it's earned, and it's well written. I liked it a lot, despite finding her annoying, but it's normal. It's on purpose. Now, Laurel also learning Oliver's secret was a bad idea in my own opinion, since she doesn't belong in Team Arrow. Hints on why I don't like Season 3. My other issue is plot armor and inconsistency in the strength of people injected by Mirakuru. They can destroy Steel Door with their hands, and yet they don't kill everyone in One Punch Man style. Secret also grading character growth feel lazy as usual despite everything I said. This season was amazing. I don't like love triangle, and yet the four-side love triangle didn't bother me since it was subplot from subplot, and that made sense. It was also better than what we got with Laurel, Tommy, Oliver. Roy Harper was amazing early during this season. Laurel was a mirror of Quentin from Season 1. And Quentin was a mirror of Laurel in Season 1, which was genius, well written, and interesting. Tommy Death did affect everyone in the cast, which is great. Sarah, one of the best supporting characters the show ever had, also amazing. Team Arrow was still small. I hate the fact that Diggle goes in the field without a mask, but at least he is not always on the field. I had a lot of things to say here. Sebastian Blood is the perfect mirror of Oliver. Having two villains was amazing. Slade Wilson was clearly a better villain than Malcolm Merlin. I still stick to that. League of Assassins being introduced was great. Argus was also amazing, action-packed, mystery, no episode felt filler despite a 23 episode format. Flashbacks were also great, giving us Ivo a better villain than Flyers. Arrow Season 2 is the perfect follow-up for Season 1. At that point, not everyone is a vigilante or a hero yet, which was great. Very entertaining season, among the best season of any superhero TV show ever made. Quentin was one of the best characters in Season 1. He's still up there, despite a different story. Nora's storyline was the best we could have after what we got with her in the previous season. Everything that was well done in Season 1 was done better in Season 2. We also meet Barry Allen. On my first watch, I never thought we would get a Flash TV show as spin-off. Then a few months later, we got the Flash first season getting a thriller. That felt amazing. Oliver Barry friendship was great. Laurel doing investigation and lawyer stuff felt great. The season was very emotional and well done. Can't wait to rewatch again. I stick to that. I already watched it maybe 8 times, 10 times. Team Arrow had the perfect size at that point. Suicide Squad was great. That season was epic. Nora running for mayor was good. Malcolm coming back from the dead was good. There's much more to love than to hate when speaking about this great season. Since I can give 9.5 out of 10, I am giving a well-deserved 5 out of 10. 5 out of 5, I should say. I suggest everyone that hasn't watched to watch. Unreal season, better than season 1, which shows a lot because season 1 was amazing. Here we are, another very long comment. Season 2 is the point where Arrow absolutely peaked in the performance. We were used to seeing Green Arrow do martial art while finding and always maintaining his secret from his sister and mother, but here we have one new character who will destroy his life, and we all love to see in Batman cartoons. Deathstroke, with the help of Mirror, Deathstroke has created his army of super soldier. This is pretty high stakes, and honestly, I think this would have been the furthest Arrow goes with the sci-fi elements. After the deal reaches his family, Oliver realizes he needs to trust others. And while he bought Roy Harper in, he let Tia out of his life, which ruined things further for him. After the death of his mother, he realized his priorities in saving Starling City from that what could have been a nightmare in real life. It had the most satisfying ending. And I even liked this season more than The Flash. Speaking of The Flash, it did a good job of keeping Barry's appearance subtle for this setup in future Arrowverse shows, something Arrowverse really need to learn to do nowadays. This was probably my favorite season of Arrow. The character they introduced and the nostalgia and Easter eggs. Not all the episodes are well done, but most of them are. And it didn't feel like there was too much drama. I do agree with you. Strong live action DC TV show. This season introduced Deathstroke, Black Canary, Suicide Squad, and The Flash. The episodes in this season are great, but episode 15 to 23 are the strongest episode in this season. I agree to some extent. Actually, 15 is a masterpiece. Hey, that's just me. Amazing! A super good villain, even better than season 1. The amazing show is good. So here we are with season 2. We will do the same as season 1. Season premiere, 2.74 million. And then we got a second episode, 3.06 million. So here we are. The mid-season finale, 3.02 million. Once we are back, 2.52 million. Here we are with the penultimate episode. They did lost a lot of viewers. This is kind of sad, but hey, things happen, you know. 2.33 million. And the season finale, 2.37 million. To end this retrospective, we need to speak about some kind of recap of what I covered. And I will add more to what I said before. And I will add more to the context, the story itself. Season 1, we get Oliver Queen having his focus into his crusade to save his cities. He came back from 5 years of hell to save his city. He is a broken vigilante that murders people. In Season 2, Oliver Queen decided to stop killing people to honor his friend memory. And in Season 2, Oliver also realized he needs two identities, the playboy and the vigilante. And he also needs to give his teammates, his co-worker, his colleagues, his team, need to give them like their own basically their own double identity. So yeah, season 2 is a really good season. Season 1 as well. This is a very strong foundation for the TV show. It was well received by most people. Most people are on board. Based on the comments on Rotten Tomato, the audience liked it. What happened with season 3 and 4? We will cover that on the next retrospective. The downfall of the Arrow TV show. Because yes, season 3 and 4 are not as good. And I will tell you why next time we see each other. In case you missed my reviews for each season, go in the description below. You will find links. And I wish you a great day, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This really helps the channel to grow a lot, and see you next time.